In this demonstration, we're going to demonstrate the use of the bandsaw. We're going to use the bandsaw to cut out our CO2 cars. The primary use of the bandsaw is to cut curves and circles. It will cut straight lines, but cutting curves and circles is what it is primarily used for. It's called a bandsaw because of the blade. The blade is simply a band of steel with teeth on it that ride on two wheels, one on the top, one on the bottom. As it turns, it'll continually cut. One of the advantages to the bandsaw is it is much safer than circular saws in that it does not throw back objects, it does not throw dust in your face, but it will cut you. So you still need to keep an eye on what you're cutting, keep an eye on where your fingers are, and keep them away from the blade. That's how you keep from getting cut. There's not many parts that you need to be aware of on the bandsaw. Really, the only one that is going to concern you at this point is the guide post, which is this piece right here. What that does is it supports the blade right over the workpiece. And the way we adjust it is there's a black knob on the back here. We turn that, and we bring it down until it is about a finger thickness above the workpiece. This supports the blade directly over the workpiece. This way, as we are cutting, the blade doesn't get pushed off the wheels. When cutting with the bandsaw, we cut in one direction, and the only cuts we can back out of are straight cuts. We can never back out of curved cuts. Doing so will cause the blade to come off of the wheel. I'm going to show you now how to go ahead and lay out your cuts. Here we have a drawing of our car and our block. Let me show you something. When you look at your drawing on the block, you will see that you have a drawing on the front of the car block and on the top of the block. We're going to start with cutting the front view, but we need to keep that top view. Let me show you how that's done. When we do our first cut, we're going to come along the top here, and we're going to cut. Then we're going to come down here like that. That will allow our top piece to come off. Then we're going to make what we call release cuts. If you'll remember, a few moments ago, I told you we can back out of straight cuts, but not curved cuts. So we're going to take and we're going to draw lines where we're going to make some release cuts. And on the bandsaw, we're going to go in and slowly back out. If you need to draw your release cuts on your block, you may do so. Now, when we go to cut, we start here. And when we get to here, that piece will fall out. We continue cutting, and that piece will fall out. We continue, and that piece will fall out. And finally, it'll go down there, and that piece will fall out. We'll do the same thing back here. We'll go straight in, slowly back out, and then we'll be able to cut to here, and that piece will fall out. And then we'll be able to come in the other direction to there, and that piece will fall out. We'll do the same thing here. We'll come in here with a release cut, in here with a release cut, and up to there with a release cut. Again, we will come up, that one will fall out. Around to here, that one will fall out. Come up to here, this one will fall out. And up to here, and that piece will fall out. Now you're going to be able to watch me cut the block out. You probably won't be able to hear me over the bandsaw while I'm cutting. So pay attention to what I'm doing, and we'll discuss it once I have finished cutting the front view out. Now I'm going to make my release cut. Straight in, slowly back out. Straight in, slowly back out. Take your time. Another release cut. Straight in, straight out. Notice what I'm doing? Again, my release cut. Straight in, straight out. Straight in, slowly straight out. Now I'm going to cut. See that little spark that happens on tight turn? This blade is also very near the end of its life, so it's kind of dull. After this demonstration, I will change it. There I have cut out the side, the front view, the side of the car. Did you notice what I did? One of the things that I did was I removed these blocks with the car. As soon as they fell off, I took my block and I used that. I didn't reach in there with my hand. That's one of the number one places where people get cut, is trying to remove blocks that are close to the blade. Now, remember that I saved my top view. Now I am going to reattach it. I'm going to take some masking tape, and I'm going to tape the car where it's not going to be cut. And if you look, you can see like right through here and right through here, we're not going to be cutting. So those are places that are good locations to put my tape. And I want it even with the back when I tape it on. And I'm going to tape it up front too. Now, I'm also going to have to adjust my guidepost. I'm going to have to raise it up so that it'll clear the entire car. Now I'm ready to cut. Again, I'm going to make some release cuts. And yes, I am cutting the tape, but I still have tape out holding. Again, I'm pushing my blocks away. I'm going to do a release cut. Also noticing I'm cutting on the outside of the line. What did I do wrong there, guys? You're right, I picked up those pieces. Out of the way. But that's so I can see it. Tape. Got one side cut. Again, my release cuts. First release cut didn't go where I wanted, so I made another one. See how that piece jumped when it hit the blade? Better that it hit the blade than my finger. Now I can go ahead and take my tape off. Blade has stopped, so I can move those pieces. I'll take that apart. And there is the roughed out version of my car. When you are done, take your scrap pieces and throw them in the trash.